tramping the fields through brambles and nettles, scanning the wet grass, tussock by thistle, deeper and deeper into the land, farther and farther from any sign of man's hand. Berries and knapweed and insects I saw, as well as great oaks and bushes of haw. Lost in thought as I wandered along, then a noise to my right, as a pheasant took flight. But still no sign of what I'd come here for. I came to the edge of an ancient mead, a rusted old gate, a stand of beech trees. I paused and listened as the wind shook the leaves. I closed my eyes and myself tried to cleave from word, thought, or deed. Such moments linger then, such moments pass. I decided that this next field would be last. I walked and composed in my head lines that rhyme with empty-handed. Then, just as I had given up hope, turned around, heading for home, I had a final cast about. And what should I spy, close to the ground, but a brilliant white globe peeking out. I knelt to ease it from the soil, a solitary perfect joy, about the size of my closed fist, a healthy pink about the gills. I'd been walking for about an hour under leaden skies. My mood was sour. But upon discovering my fungal prize, the breeze seemed to soften, the light seemed to rise. All at once was forgotten the last few hours as I made my way back to my battered old car, wondering how best to prepare my mushroom. Fried off in butter, or added to soup, mixed up with eggs, or spicily stuffed. I only had one. But sure, one is enough.
When you get to that point of the night, when the chance for love or a fight in the pub or the club of your choice is null and void, it's best to avoid the like-minded types. Now on this sort of side to go home, hop a taxi on my own, no rank around, but there's plenty of strays to be found. Scattered yellow lights always seem to cover disappointing nights in town. I see a heap of closed down shops with dingy flats attached and a depressed looking Indian chap in a Maxall garage hatch. Betcha Marlborough lights for D4 spoiled brats. And as we make brief eye contact, the lonely drifter from the head of the pack of taxis emerges at me back. Naturally, he ignores my attempt to hail him in so he can give me a lift. Continues driving like I don't exist, and I don't know whether I'm going crazy or if I'm Patrick Swayze in that movie Ghost. If these taxi men aren't seeing me. When this happens, and they ignore you so many times, you contemplate hurling yourself across the double yellow lines, let the stars, the bodies, the oval course of bonnets combine and collide for the last ever time a taxi man will ignore me in his life. But just then, one runs in with a cheeky grin. Where you going, kid? Coolock. Hop in. And as I take the back seat, I notice little things. The battered black leather in a Toyota Corolla 5-seater, the Padre Pio prayer untouched beside the fare meter. The gentle scent of nights about getting mistakes to tell blended with new car smell. Out in the gargle, were you? And I could tell not just by what he said, but the way he said it, that he's the stereotypical taxi driver type of fella who gives the impression that he loves talking about the recession. I mentioned, for a Saturday night, there's not many people around town, which is the type of thing you say when you can't find a common ground. Bleeding dead out there. More taxis than people. And I'm not along, let him know that we're equals. The last thing I need in the trip home is rear view evils, because he's driving like a lunatic, like his last name's Knievel. I try my best not to panic. And I notice AC/DC is playing. I hadn't taken him for a Radio Nova addict. And I say as I sink back in my seat, yeah, just left at the lights here, Chief. He proceeds to question me. He asks about my life, I ask about his life. I'm in college, he's on his second wife, I ask about the kids. Best way to break the ice. Fact is, he's a lad just trying to get by, and I'd be lying if I said we weren't essentially the same inside. Only difference is my life is reading books, and his is transporting drunks. Like most others, we find ourselves in a similar position. I is tired, lives never transpired to the dreamed of conditions. We both had goals that never came to fruition, his with the addition of keys in ignition. He meets 1,000 10-minute friends a night under the glow of his taxi light. And as he bobs and waves through housing schemes, and 50 is what the meter reads, and the light of prayer and the worn leather seats, I say, yeah, just drop us off me way here, please. And we dispense with the expense of the transport fees, and he is free to live. And then he dwindles away like a shivering flame. And he totally goes like a puff of smoke. For me, brush the teeth, hit the sack, as you do. For him, orange, red, green, O'Connell Street, back of the queue. Sound job.
Through the dome metallic frame,
or watch what was once so nice in my view, I cannot see it anymore. How I love to sit here on this weathering height, alone, feel the musical resonance dance within my soul. I lean forward and watch the sun fall, of which beautiful colours embrace the once blue sky. I feel so deep out at sea. Could I lie back and die? Thank you.
Poets, pilgrims, proles, plebs, playing proper people, presenting P poem, Porter Price. Pretty Penelope Peep pulls Porter points perfectly. Professional procrastinator Peter Price points Penelope's Porter perfection. Penelope pulls Peter. Pretty Penelope proposes premarital playtime. Peter pleasantly peels Penelope's pajamas. Penelope proposes precaution. Pleasure pause. Precaution pops. Pregnant pause. Penelope pregnant. Penelope's Papa Peep proposes pistol papal proceedings. Priest performs preachy prologue. Parents pray. Pals party. Epilogue. Penelope pops. Puny Peter produced. Paternal Peter. Pram pushing Peter. Peter pays Porter perfection price.
I'm going to do a piece because the theme of Foundation 15 is quantum leap, and I was looking for definitions of quantum leap. And quantum leap, the best definition I could come across was where you sit in the train going from A to B, and you take your seat in A, and you're immediately in B without going through any points in between. And I think that's very interesting because the creative process is a lot like that. You're kind of quantum leaping in here. So this piece is called, I think it's called Spiders. So all you creative people out there, pluck a theme from thin air. Because like wild yeast, you know, it's already there. Floating around invisibly, pregnant with potential and possibilities. For instance, witness now as I stare into middle distance, into which drops a speck with plumb line precision. I squint and focus at this free-falling glider. Of course I see it's a miniature spider. I lift my gaze to the ceiling above, from whence he must surely have come, and all I can think of is Spider-Man. How the guy at Marvel must have felt when up the wall the idea crept, or into his bath, or across the carpet. Unbidden, oblivious, minding his own spidery business. A gift from the great arachnid king, whose words and thoughts, like rhymes we spin, when in whispered stillness we let them in. So this guy is dangling in front of me, perfectly poised, wonderfully at ease, delicate legs working busily, before shooting off at 45 degrees. Slack-jawed, I follow his trajectory. And you know what I did then? I blew. Turns out I'm a bully. I wanted to see what he would do. Of course, I got distracted then. A knock at the door, the ring of a bell. But I held that image high and dry as the rest of my day flowed rushing by. A gift from a spider, an unlikely muse. And these lines, my way of saying, thank you.
I am foreign. I am an Ice Age white middle-class male on the island of my birth, and I am foreign. I am foreign because I do not understand the place I am living. In our collective mind's misgiving, we continue to make the same mistakes. Though the reasons have changed, it remains the same. Same pain, same disdain, same arcane troubles of a society that is broken. With hearts unable to open, we exist in a culture of fear and search for someone to blame. which is easy when the media and powers that be are already pointing fingers, but we are only pawns in their game. I am foreign because I am afraid. I am foreign on one street but not another, and in this idiotic level of paranoia, it is no wonder we attack each other. I speak the native tongue, but I am foreign. I speak the native tongue for daughters and sons who cannot fathom why these things are being done. In the mirror I see my reflection, and I am foreign to the image in my head. To paraphrase the father of philosophy, Descartes, who coincidentally was French but spent most of his life in Holland, I think, therefore I am foreign. I am foreign because my lineage is from other lands, from travellers who walked across great ice bridges until the ice unfroze, the water level rose, and this island was created some 10,000 years ago. I am foreign but familiar with irony when I hear people complain about immigrants when for centuries natives of the Emerald Isle travelled far and wide, improving and creating life, aiding advancements in technology and design. They drew the first submarine, the White House beams, and the two men at either end of that famous photo of construction workers having lunch atop a skyscraper were from Ireland. And I say Ireland in terms of the island, not to raise grievance or create some tired debate about national allegiance. Yet to respect two other viewpoints which you may believe, Adam and Eve had no passport. And that fish which crawled from the sea and learned to walk on land had no enemies until borders were drawn by the hands of man. I am foreign, but I am confused. I am unsure if I'm here for your jobs or your benefits. Perhaps if you believe the news, I'm here for both. But if you believe the truth, I am far less likely to claim benefits or live in social housing than those whose lives I am said to be disrupting. I will make a contribution. I will enrich. I am more than your perception and more than a suitcase. I am foreign because I have a German watch, a South Korean phone, drive an American car, and my underwear was made in Taiwan. I had an Indian for my dinner, and now I ask you to pardon my French when I say I'm a bloody foreigner, and you're a bloody foreigner. Therefore, let's accept that we're all bloody foreigners just trying to find a place to belong. Stop all the hate. Stop judging people on race, and let's try to get along. And then face up to the fact that we're all stuck here together on this lonely little rock that's just spinning in space.
Normally I write rhyming poetry, but every so often there's a piece you put together and it just doesn't seem to rhyme and leave it as it is. I was looking at the telly and saw some of the bombings out in Syria, and showed a bombed out art gallery, and I said to myself, there is no time for art out in that spot. And then I thought to myself, maybe there is, and I wrote this piece based on it. There is no time for art till bullets fly, and the screams of fear replace song. Even the birds are quiet. But to an artist, this is an ever-evolving gallery, where the shells, the explosions, the fires and bullets, by the craters, bullet holes and charred buildings become one abstract sculpture. Carved by destruction as if to say, the soldier is an artist who paints in blood, and war itself is art. Thank you.
It was a Sunday, like they always are, like all the rest, when the priest raised his hand to bless you, his nephew, baby Lane, brought by mistake into creation to be raised and stained on the pavements of Coolock and spend rainy days off on the dual shock of a PS3, when, stalling it out to the mouth of the church, 3 men emerged from the burning bush and lacerated your face for our wages. This generation has no grace. This generation marks its place. This generation took a boy's face, and now he lives laced with a veil of scars on his face, like the back of a slave. Nice one.
I was lying on my bed the other day, panting and out of breath, so I decided to write a poem about my weight. It's a poem called Fat Men, and it goes like this. Now I'm fat. I used to be petite. I cannot see my little man when I take a leak. It's hard to put my pants on. I struggle with my socks. Don't even get me started with the trouble of my jocks. They say that all fat people have good voices, that most of us can hold a chord. And if you stick a needle in their arse, they will cry a gentler word. Oh God, please make me skinny. I cannot do this anymore. Last night I tried to undress myself and I landed on the floor. I could hear the heavens laugh at me. I'd never felt so ashamed. So I decided that it was time to use my little brain. For if it were a big one, surely I wouldn't have got like this. The reason all this happened was from taking the utter piss. Eating, sleeping, smoking, that's all I did for years. And after time had passed, I drowned myself in tears. But now I understand the way. A year or two should work. Living like a monk from day to day, I should be able to gradually flirt. Flirting with the idea of being beautiful again, this poem is dedicated to all fat men.
I'm painter and decorator, and I'm from Cabra. And when I was growing up, I don't know if anyone ever heard of Grange Gorman. It was a local, what we would have called the madhouse when we were growing up. Do you know what I mean? So it was this looming thing, and I actually priced a job there a couple of years ago, a painting job. And I was driving past the other day, and I remembered it, and it was kind of like, after I'd priced the job, I was leaving the building, and on my way out was these prefabs on the right hand side, and as I was going past, I could hear this chanting coming out of one of them, 13, 13, 13, 13. So I was wondering where it was coming, what was going on and stuff, so I thought I'd go over and see if we could have a look in through the windows, and when we got to the front, they were all blacked out, couldn't see anything, and I could still hear 13, 13, 13. So I walked around the side, still looking for somewhere to see in, couldn't see it, and all, it's still here, 13, 13, 13. And when I got around to the back, I found this hole in the wall, and I could still hear 13, 13, 13. So I looked in, and I got poked in the eye, and I heard 14, 14, 14.